Well, call it Google's chief nemesis. Not another search engine, but click fraud. Tom Cuthbert is the president and CEO of Click Forensics. They track abuses in the system. Tom joins us this morning from New York with his firm's latest findings. And Tom, I thought this was a problem that was getting better, but what did your firm find?
Well, actually, we found that it's getting worse, Becky. It appears that in Q4, the level of click fraud activity is increasing, and I think this is due to two reasons. One is the increased online activity that is associated with Q4, seasonality issue, and then the other part is just, as is the case with spam and spyware and phishing efforts, this is a difficult problem to solve, and I think the problem is getting worse and more sophisticated.
All right, I know it's early in the morning. Just to make sure everybody's on the same page with this, when we start talking about click fraud, we're talking about ads that are put up, they're fake ads. Explain this just to people who are at home.
What it is an ad when you search for a term, for example, MP3 player on Google or Yahoo or other search engines, and an ad is displayed on the side. Someone clicks on that ad and goes to that advertiser's site, and the advertiser then pays the search provider. What's occurring, however, is a very large percentage of those clicks are being done maliciously by individuals or by robotic programs that are driving up the cost for the advertiser and making them spend money unnecessarily.
Now, is this a problem that's most closely associated with small kind of websites you've never heard about? I mean, I would imagine it's a much smaller problem at a big company like a Google.
Well, that's a really good question. And interestingly, what we've done this quarter for the first time is broken out what are called content networks. So what you may be familiar with is on Google or Yahoo specifically, there's a search that occurs. But there's also a growing area called content networks. And these are other sites that Google or Yahoo ads may appear on. And this is where a large amount of this click fraud is occurring. This is much more difficult to track. It's a step away from the search providers. And many of these publishers, these individual publishers, have a financial incentive for more clicks to occur, and so that's what's driving that up. In fact, we found that over 19% of the clicks in that area, in the content networks, fall into our high threat category as compared to 14% or so.
That's a massive number. What are the major players, the major search engines like a Google or a Yahoo or an MSM, what are they doing to combat this?
Well, they've last summer joined an Interactive Advertising Bureau Initiative working group, and that's a very slow, long process. They say that they're tracking it on their own, but you know, in the same way, Becky, that there's not a third party like a Nielsen for television, that's what needs to occur here. And so we're hoping and working with the search providers and have over 3,000 advertisers behind us in our click fraud network and members of our Click Quality Council that are not satisfied with the actions that they've taken.
And Tom, just to clarify things, where do you get your funding?
We're a privately held company, and our money comes from advertisers. Advertisers pay us to validate their campaigns and make sure that they get what they pay for from the search providers.
All right, Tom, thanks for joining us, and we'll hope you come back as you find more of these. It's a problem that we're all going to be following very closely.
Thanks, Becky.
Sure.